Hello students of grade 7. I hope everything has been good so far and you're all doing good. Today we meet again for yet another topic from the very same chapter on equality. The subtopic for today's class will be firstly, equality in Indian democracy, and secondly, implementation of equality by the government. So without further delay, let's start the class. Firstly, talking about equality in Indian democracy. We understand that equality is a key feature of a democracy, but now the question is, how does the Indian government or the Indian constitution uphold this equality? How do they give us equality and how do they maintain that? Firstly, we need to understand that right to equality is a fundamental right. Every citizen of a particular country has right to this equality. This particular equality states that all of us are equal, irrespective of whatever our background may be, no matter what skin color or what caste we belong to, what creed or what religion we follow. It is also important to understand that this right to equality abolishes any practice of untouchability. It gives us equal opportunities and equal protection to all. It is also important to know that it is not just a social status, but it gives us equal opportunities and equality of all religion. Now, this particular right to equality, it is based on some few basic principles. Firstly, we have under Article 14. It states that everyone is equal before the law. No matter whatever background it may be or whatever the crime may be, everyone will be given free and fair justice. That is through this Article 14. Next, under 15, we have another right that is everyone will have equal access to the public places, no matter if it's market, shops, or worship places. No one will be discriminated in any form. This is abolished. Next, under Article 17, we have untouchability. This talks about how anyone practicing this particular discriminating anyone, then this will be considered a punishable offense and they can be taken behind bars. So this is how the Indian Constitution maintains equality in a democratic country like India. That is firstly through this right to equality, and this particular right to equality is based on these few principles. That is what we'll be discussing for equality in Indian democracy. Now, we'll discuss on the next topic, that is implementation of equality by the government. We know how the government maintains equality in an Indian democracy, but now what are the steps taken by the government in order to provide these equalities? Firstly, it is through laws. We know that how through the different articles and laws set up by the government in the Indian Constitution, it aims to give free and fair justice to all Indian citizens. Next, it is through different programs and schemes that the government tries to reach out to all the backward or the particular section of society who are often discriminated. We have a lot of different programs and schemes, but we'll be discussing only about the midday meal scheme. Now, what is this midday meal scheme? Midday meal scheme is the lunch that is being provided to the students in government schools all around the country. So firstly, this midday meal scheme was introduced in Tamil Nadu in the 1960s. This was where it first started. But because of its success, it was later introduced in all the other different states with a more revised plan, and by 1996, it was introduced in all the other states. Now, what are the benefits of this midday meal scheme? Firstly, it satisfies hunger. This means to say that the students who come to this government school usually belong to the students of the backward classes or those whose parents are working on a daily basis, daily wage laborers. So they hardly have food set up on the table. So on the pretext of going to school, they're getting education and they're also being fed. So it satisfies the hunger of the children, those who come to school. Secondly, school enrollment. Here basically we're talking about how the admissions in the government school have increased vastly because of this particular midday meal scheme. Because the students are being provided food. So what better than to get education and food at the same time? That is why there's been a vast change and there's been a number of admissions being taken in all these government schools. Next we have school attendance. When the scheme was not introduced, students would usually be absent in school and their parents would often force them to go for labor work. But because of this introduction, now students are usually present in the school, they're getting education, they're getting food, and they're not being made to go for work, and it helps to reduce child labor. Next, it addresses malnutrition. Now, all the food that are being provided to these children consists of the nutritional diet. The vegetables that are being provided have nutritional value. We have grams, we have pulses. Everything are given in a considerate amount so that the children will have a nutritional diet. Next, it empowers women. Now, how does it empower women when it's for children? Here it means to say that the women who cook the food belong usually to the Dalits. Now, who are the Dalits? Dalits are a section of people who belong to who are usually the lower class people, who are often being discriminated. So the government tries to empower them by giving them employment and making them cook food for the children. So now this particular scheme is helping bring equality among the ongoing school students, and also at the same time is empowering the women from the backward classes. So this is how the government tries to maintain equality. So these are the two topics that we will be discussing for today's topic. So firstly, we had discussed about the equality in Indian democracy, and next we discussed about the implementation of equality by the government. So that's all that we'll be discussing. Please stay safe and take care until we meet for the next class. Thank you.